Good morning, Unleashed Lund loyalists. Thanks for tuning in live each weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube, Instagram, and X. Remember, please like and subscribe and listen where you get your podcasts. Be on the lookout for Lund loyalists perks by joining the club. And if you really want your comments read during the show, you can use supers and stickers. Now, as close to on time as he gets, here's Johnny.
Good morning. Let me get this thing on. There we go. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. It is a Tuesday edition of the show. I'm a little nervous about today's show, and I'll tell you why in a second. Not nervous, that's the wrong word, but I don't know. Apprehensive. It's not that I'm nervous to do the show. It's not that. It's that what I'm going to present to you, I'm not sure what you're going to think of it, but it's almost like one of those things where, and I do consider you like my children kind of in a certain way, even though I'm the most immature one of the bunch. But sometimes you have to do something which will educate everybody or like your children or something, and then the show will actually be better for it. So I don't know that if that makes any sense whatsoever, but somebody made me go down a rabbit hole. So I'm gonna first and foremost say that this isn't my fault. So we're gonna do that. I got a story I got to tell you about my kid. And I know too much, but I'm a very proud parent moment. I got to tell somebody, and I haven't been able to. So there's a ton to get to today. And the reason I'm late, I haven't been this late in a long time, was because I was putting so much into the system, and it will be worth your while because beyond the thing that I'm nervous to present to you this morning, I do have a ton of good stuff if this doesn't work. It's like one of those things. Here's another analogy that may work or may not. Where you have like a favorite band and you love their music and everything's going great. And then they put out like I don't know, some sort of a Renaissance album, or like if they're rock, they go funk, or if they're funk, they go country. And it's not that extreme today. So I'm just going to try this out. And if you hate it, you hate it. But I have to get through it. You know what I mean? Like I can't get distracted. I can't jump out to the line, to the text lines and comment lines, because then it'll throw me haywire. So I've got to get I'm going to try to do this in under 10 minutes or about 10 minutes. I think I can. In fact, I think I can do it in less time than that. And I think it's going to be entertaining. I hope it's going to be entertaining. I think it's going to be entertaining. You may not like the subject matter, but if I explain it, I think it's going to work. So you can tell me afterwards, but I can't get distracted. All right, that's weird. I'll go over the chalkboard in just a second, but it is tremendous to have everybody. Hurley Bird was here nice and early. Hey-o! Skills Report, which had a great donation yesterday in which he said he felt like he had a dream where he hit a 350-foot home run with an empty soda bottle, I think is what you said, something like that, 5950, which is actually New Era 84. I found that out the other day. It's because something weird's going on in this room. Tacky is here. Jesus is here. Good to see everybody this morning. Let's see who else. Pine Needle, sports fan, Joy. Always love to see Joy. Jake is here this morning. Good morning to you, Jake. Everybody. Scott is here today. Jazz fan, Deas. I'll just call you that, man. I'm trying to go fast. Enrique Luna is here today. Everybody. Good to see you. I just a 49ers fan is here. There's a few of those in here. All right, so I will acknowledge everybody as we get going here. Thank you for joining me. A couple of quick things. You already know that you need to subscribe, please, to John Lund Unleashed Pod. Have a new website that we're keeping up to date that I think's got a couple of good pieces on it right now. Plus, we archive all of the YouTube shows and all of the podcasts. Plus, we got the blog on there as well, johnlundunleashed.com. So you got that. You got the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcasts. Please subscribe if you want things read 100%. Then if you can donate to the show, it'd be tremendous. If you don't, that is no problem either. Chalkboard today, episode 43, Rabbit Hole, which is the thing I'm talking about. I'll explain it. I'm kind of giving it away. Kansas City's just good. First half plays Snoop, more Snoop Dogg, whether you like it or not. It must be NFL mock day. Warriors taking on Utah. And people asked yesterday, you talk any Warriors yesterday? Well, there was just so much football going on that the Warriors weren't playing, and they're playing the Jazz tonight. And I do have a good Jazz and Warriors story. All-star vote. I didn't get to that last week, and I was going through my things from late last week that I didn't get to, and these are really fascinating. I'll tell you why. Giant stuff. Larry Bear has spoken. New Orleans, I'm going to keep that up there probably for the next 2 weeks because I've covered at least 2 Super Bowls in New Orleans, and I covered a national championship game there in which I did New Year's Eve in New Orleans. So there are so many New Orleans stories that it's unbelievable. By the way, I am trying to get Lorenzo Neal on because I've told the story about him getting laryngitis and Alyssa Milano coming on the show on a Saturday, which saved us because I was hungover and he had laryngitis and she stayed for an hour and he did Low on Love. So I've told the story and I can tell it to a certain extent in an above average way, but he can take it way over the top. So hopefully he's going to join us this week or in the next couple of weeks. Random things always happen. I do have some caboose stories, including a tongue guy. And for some weird reason, and you may be getting these too, I'm getting all these online food. I don't know, because I'm doing a ton of social media now. And I'm just getting these weird, like recipe people that are doing, and it's like, it's total like trailer stuff. Like, sorry, but it's like, it's not like good stuff where I would be like, oh my gosh, or like a booze recipe where it's like, oh, cool, I'd like to do that. It's just like, what in the world? And so I just thought I would bring it to you to see if you guys get these kind of things as well. So we have a ton to get to. All right. I'm going to do this. What time is it? 8:20. So let's see if I can get this done by like 8:35 at the latest. And then we can move on with the show and you can tell me what you think. And again, if you would keep an open mind, I would really appreciate it because I'm doing this for all of our own goods. And I'm doing this to say, look, I don't want to be the same old Homer guy. I don't want to blow smoke up your arse. I want you to be able to come into the show every day and think, you know what, he's going to give it to us straight. The way he sees it or the way he hears it or the way he knows it or whatever, he's going to give it to us straight. And I think people appreciate that more than the Homerism and blowing smoke and company lines. And because I had to do that to a certain extent on the radio. I've told you this before, but when you're the flagship of the Giants, you can't exactly shoot from the hip. When you're the flagship of the Niners, you can't exactly shoot from the hip. The Warriors, the whatever. I've done this for 27, 28 years and been on the flagship station of the Detroit Lions, Detroit Tigers, Detroit Pistons, Pittsburgh Steelers, Pittsburgh Penguins, Utah Jazz, Portland Trailblazers, all the teams in the Bay Area. I've had all of them on our station. I can't remember. I guess we had the Sharks on another FM station, but we didn't talk a ton about the Sharks. But the Giants, the Niners, the Warriors. So there's a certain extent to you can go to a certain extent, and if you want to go above that line, you're probably going to hear from someone within the organization. It doesn't mean you can't be truthful. It just means you've got to just stop short of the line sometimes of exactly what you want to say. You can say things, you can have an opinion, but if you go all in, sometimes you're probably going to hear from somebody who doesn't appreciate it. And it's okay. A lot of times you have to tell them, look, I have to do this. I have a responsibility to my listeners, my viewers, and I just have to say that. And then you put up with the grief that comes, and some people can deal with it. Some people can't. I was pretty good at it. And as I've told you before, it's one of the reasons I'm not a good, ass kisser, ladder climber, all that kind of stuff, because sometimes I would, the higher ups within the company would say, hey, cool it. And I'd say, look, I have a responsibility. I got to tell the truth. And there's a truth somewhere in between there. So I hope that makes sense what I just said. So anyway, last night I made a promo. In fact, I should have put it on the show, but I made a promo yesterday, and you listen to the show, or watch the show, so you know. And I praised the Chiefs to a certain extent, and I understand why people don't like that. I understand why people don't like that, especially here in the Bay Area, because I feel your pain. In fact, I'll pull these up during the show. I had two of the same view last year in Las Vegas and in 2019 or 2020, technically, in Miami, in which I was doing a post-game show in those stadiums, first in Hard Rock and then in Allegiant last year. And it was the exact same scene, and I didn't enjoy it. It was after the game. It was red and gold, not the Niners colors, confetti, Chiefs colors. And they're doing snow angels and they're partying and they're getting handed a trophy. And meanwhile, I'm doing a post-game show for 3 hours, taking calls and texts and interactions from pissed off Niner fans. And I completely understand it. So when I was in Miami, I was the last person out of Hard Rock Stadium at about 3:45 in the morning in Miami. And as the last media bus was rolling, and where Miami Gardens is, where the stadium is, and where I was staying in South Beach, are probably an hour. And I don't know how many on Sunday night or Monday morning, how many Ubers I'm getting, but I ran after the media bus. They opened up the door, and I was the last one into the media bus. And we drove in silence back to Miami Beach because we thought Niners. And just like you, I thought they're going to win that game, and they didn't. And so that was kind of etched into my mind, burned into my mind. And then last year, the same exact thing happens. I'm looking down on the field. There's that confetti again. Now it was West Coast time, so it wasn't 4 a.m, but it was 1 a.m. And as I walked the short walk from Allegiant Stadium back to my hotel, Mandalay Bay, it's a short little walk. And if you've ever been to a Raiders game at the new place, they've got a little walkway that you walk. And that whole week, I was in Vegas for 10 days. And that whole time I was there, it was Niner fans, 3-1 over Chiefs fans. I walked from the stadium at like 1:30 in the morning. You know how Vegas is. Doesn't matter if it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, it's going to be packed. And I didn't see any Niner fans. I saw a lot of red and gold. It wasn't red and gold for the Niners. It was Kansas City. And I walked back to the hotel, and you try to be objective, but you know the guys on the team and the coaches and the fans, and you want them to win. So that's the angle I'm coming from. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I try to be objective as I possibly can. And it sucked watching that exact thing twice, sitting in those stadiums, watching Kansas City celebrate. So by no means am I some kind of closet Chiefs fan. But what I try to bring to you every single day is objectivity in the way that I see it or know it or hear it or whatever the case may be, because I do think that there's value in that just coming on every single day with red and gold Niners glasses or black and orange Giants glasses or blue and gold or blue and yellow Warriors glasses or whatever the team is not fair to you. All right. So is that as the backdrop? I'll try to explain that, but I don't know that I'll still get away with this, but here we go. So last night, among many, this is just one. So from the promo that I did saying, look, the Chiefs are just good, deal with it. And again, you watched the show, so you know yesterday what I did. And by the end of it, everyone was saying enough on the Chiefs. Totally get it. So among many, and I'm not calling this guy out. I'm just saying I got a lot of these yesterday, so I just pulled one out and used this as an example. And he says in fine English, are we watched the same game? So I think I'm taking that as he's saying, are we watching or did we watch the same game? Are we watched the same game? I understand I'm not the greatest when it comes to English either. So I get it. You're saying, did we watch the same game? And what people do in a really short way, and here's another one, and this was not sent to me. It's just, this was pretty typical, and you probably saw the same things on social media. ML Football says the Chiefs were in the neutral zone on the 4th down play. No call from the refs. The refs then also ruled the Bills short on the play and set up Kansas City for an easy touchdown. This is absurd. Wild. So it was all about the low-hanging fruit, which I love saying that term, low-hanging fruit, which means it's easy. It's easy to complain and complain about officials and blame them. It's easy to complain about a quarterback because it's obvious. It's easy to complain about a specific play that's played over and over, and the media tells you that was the play of the game, which is the 4th down play in which Buffalo didn't get it. Maybe they should have got it. There's overhead views. I completely understand that. But as I tell you, in every single sport, rarely are the officials to blame. And in an NFL game, there's, 120, 130, 140 plays. And specifically to point out one is generally, and I'm going to say 95, 98, 99% of the time inaccurate. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play some first half highlights for you. And I'm going to go through them quickly. But I'm only going to go to the last 2 plays of the second half. So we're not going to go over the whole game, but nobody talks about this because it's low hanging fruit. It's officials, it's quarterbacks, it's obvious, it's 4th down plays. And everybody thinks that the officials are in the pocket of the Chiefs. Now, just from a logical standpoint, before I play this, what would be the logic behind being in the Chiefs' pocket? It's not LA. It's not New York. It's not Chicago. It's not San Francisco. Those are the 4 largest media markets in the country. New York's 1, LA's 2, Chicago's 3, San Francisco's 4. So if you really looked at it, Kansas City's not a major market. Now, they do have Patrick Mahomes. They do get good numbers when they're on because they win. But there's no financial advantage to the NFL to make Kansas City this juggernaut. There's just not. And if anybody wanted to stop it, they would have taken Patrick Mahomes before Kansas City moved up 17 spots to take him. The Niners could have had him at number 2. The Niners could have had him at number 3. The Bears took a quarterback at number 2, the 3rd largest media market in the country. That would have been nice for the NFL if Mitch Trubisky wasn't the quarterback of the Bears at that point. It was actually Patrick Mahomes. Lots of teams could have taken him, and they didn't. And he's the difference between winning and losing. Andy Reid's a damn good coach. Like, we don't want to take those things into equation. So let's do this. All right, now my 10 minutes start. We're 15 minutes into the show. So let's start here. This is the Bills' first possession of the game. There's no score. Bills' first possession of the game. Now, let me explain it. Here you go. Josh Allen is here on a second down, and he's going to throw the ball to the right. And Brian Cook, number 6, the safety back there, should intercept this ball. Right? Right to him. Get the ball in Bills territory. So the Bills should take advantage of that. Dropped interception. Let's see what we do. Let's take advantage. Good teams do that. Scrambles out. Throws it, third down, almost another interception. So Buffalo right out of the gate, a good team probably takes advantage of the missed interception, and they don't. And then he says, okay, let me throw another one, another dropped interception. So first and foremost, on their first possession of the game, Buffalo gets extremely lucky in that there are 2 balls that should have been intercepted by probably a nervous Josh Allen in the first possession of the AFC Championship game, and neither ball gets intercepted. Neither ball gets intercepted, despite the fact that Cook should have had it, and that would have been in Buffalo territory. And then down the right sideline, there's 2 men in coverage, and either of those guys should have had the interception. And Kansas City really should have the ball in Buffalo territory, but they get lucky. All right, I move on. And this is why, remember yesterday when I kept saying fans don't want to blame their own players because they have their jerseys? Well, the ultimate player that you don't want to blame, ultimate player, number 1 in the NFL, number 1, is who? Damar Hamlin. Love for Damar. Damar Hamlin died on the field, came back. You don't want to rip Damar Hamlin. What are you, crazy? You're going to rip Damar Hamlin. Damar Hamlin had a horrendous game. Damar Hamlin's not a starting safety in the NFL. The story is amazing, and I'm sorry that I have to be the bad guy here. But again and again and again, and these are just first half highlights, Damar Hamlin, the safety, number 3, who we all love, died on the field, came back to life. And Greg Rousseau, their left defensive end, right defensive end, left defensive end, gets sucked in constantly by Patrick Mahomes, and he has a horrible game. So let's not blame Damar Hamlin because he died on the field, and we've got to blame officials. So remember yesterday I said people hate blaming their own players because they have a jersey. Well, the ultimate guy you don't want to hate on is Damar Hamlin. So let's look at Kansas City's first possession. No score, right? First drive, first quarter. Watch this play. Third play of their offensive series. Watch 3. Miss this tackle. Whoop, see ya. There's another 20 yards. So don't blame Damar Hamlin because people are going to get mad if you blame Damar Hamlin. Now watch this next play. All right? I'm sorry that I have to do this, but I just want to tell you. Damar Hamlin, whoop, see ya. Another, 10, 12 yards? Can't blame Damar Hamlin because people are going to get mad, so it's got to be about the officials, right? It can't be Damar Hamlin. Now, they go away from Hamlin on this play. They're going to go left on your screen, not right. There's Hamlin right there, but Hamlin's going to get picked on a lot more. So right there, missed tackle, push-ups in the end zone. So there's 3 missed tackles on that play. Nothing to do with the officials. Damar Hamlin misses 2 tackles. They miss 3 on the way to the end zone. So 5 missed tackles in the last 3 plays, and we have push-ups in the end zone, and it's 7-0 Kansas City. Kansas City executed fine on that drive, but it's not like Kansas City went crazy. They had 2 linebackers. Ball goes over the linebacker. Hamlin's got to make that tackle. They get an extra 25 yards. Next play, they go right. Hamlin misses that tackle. Then they go left, and they miss 3 tackles. So, again, not on the officials. Bad defense by Buffalo. So, Buffalo has had, in the first 2 possessions of the game, Allen could have thrown 2 interceptions. They have 5 missed tackles just on the 3 plays that I showed you, and it's 7-0 Kansas City. Sorry, but I'm just trying to say, let's get a little bit educated and not be so simple. Okay, Buffalo's second possession. They get a first down right here. They do that play that they didn't get on the 4th down late in the game, which we'll go to in a minute. So it's first down Buffalo. Remember, they lost this game by 3. So they get 5 yards on first down. They're in Kansas City territory. They're at the 35-yard line, all right? Now this is second down. After the 5-yard gain on first down, it's 2nd and 5. A fumbled snap. Bummer. Lose 4 yards. So now you're back at the 39. Then it's third down, and you get those yards that you would have needed if you hadn't dropped the snap. So instead of going for a touchdown drive, Buffalo has to kick a field goal. Nothing to do with officials. 5 yards on first down, drop the snap on second down, get the yardage that you would have needed for the first down, but you drop the ball on second down. So instead of a touchdown drive, that's a field goal. That's minus 4 points. Nothing to do with the officials. Nothing to do with the officials. I'm going to keep going. I don't know if you're getting mad. 10-7 Buffalo. 3rd and 4 Kansas City. Nope. Can't stop them on third down. 3rd and 4, just an in and out route. Goes in, goes out. Worthy. Third down. Then you go here. Next exact play. Who's that chasing him? Hamlin. Hamlin gets stuck on the inside against Worthy. The safety against the receiver. That's terrible defensive calling. You don't want Worthy, who's super fast, against Hamlin. Sorry, Hamlin, we're picking on you, but it's got to be about the officials, can't be about you. So again, you had a third down situation there, 3rd and 4, could have stopped them. Worthy goes in and out. The exact next play, Hamlin, and that's a bad defensive coordinator call, gets stuck on, and that's Andy Reid too. That's great offense, really is what it is, because he puts him in motion, gets him on the safety, which is Hamlin, who can't cover tight ends or running backs, let alone a Worthy type of receiver, and they get a touchdown on the play. So again, I'm not picking on Hamlin. It's just a fact. He's not a starting safety in the league, so you give up a touchdown there, and you had an opportunity to stop them for a field goal, and you couldn't stop them on 3rd down. This is just the first half. Now it's 14-10 Kansas City. This is a really important possession. Open, watch 86, cross in the middle. Open, too late, too soft, bad throw. Okay, that's 1st down. Josh Allen, bad throw. Had all the time in the world. All the time in the world here. All the time, bad throw, 2nd down. All the time in the world. 3rd down, watch the left tackle get absolutely used. See ya. Again, he has to move out of the pocket, bad throw, and it's 4th down. So again, I want to play this one more time for you, because now it's a punt, and this is where the game gets really interesting and everyone gets real mad. But let me play this one more time and why it's important. 14-10, 4:13 left. Allen's got all the time in the world. Kincaid's open. Now he's not open. It's thrown late and behind. Should have been a 1st down past the marker. Right here, no pressure whatsoever, bad throw. There's no one out there. That's a 1st down Buffalo. If he just gets the ball up, then Dawkins, the left tackle, gets used on 3rd down, and now 3 and out. Why is that important? Glad you asked. So you go to the next possession because you see the punter there, so let me move it here. This is where everybody in Buffalo gets pissed off at the officials, because this is going to be the punt return in which people say there was a block in the back, and this is the possession where Kansas City either Worthy did or did not make a catch. All right, so let's move this. Here's the punt right after that possession that I just showed you that Buffalo should have gotten at least 1 1st down. Now, are there blocks in the back here? Questionable. There's a push there that's possible. There's another push there that's possible. Not egregious, though. Not egregious. The officials are not out to get the Bills. Not egregious. Special teams let them down. Get the ball at the 34-yard line. So, again, you're looking here at a 3rd down situation. All right? Or no, excuse me. I think this is a 2nd down. 2nd down, Kelsey with a rare drop. So you get a break from the Chiefs. It's 3rd down. 3rd down. You can make a stop. Force them for a field goal. Get a stop. Rousseau gets inside. This is the throw. Did he catch it or not? Well, if you're a conspiracy theorist, they actually went back to the booth and they said it was a catch. But watch this. Now, this is your 3rd down. You can keep him out of the end zone. Rousseau, the end, we've seen this a million times for the 49ers, gets sucked inside. Okay, sorry. Okay, wait a minute. That's 1st down. This is 2nd down. There's 2nd down. Okay, now it's going to be 3rd down. You can hold them to a field goal. You lost by 3. This is a 4-point swing. 3rd down. Rousseau, the corner, gets sucked in. Hamlin, the safety, is too late. Watch the end. Gets sucked in. Gets blocked by running back. And then Hamlin decides, I don't know what I'm going to do. And he's too late to the end zone. So that's what happened there. And that's a 4-point swing. So you stop him on 1st down. You stop him on 2nd down. On 3rd down, Rousseau gets sucked in too much, the defensive end. Gets blocked by Hunt, the running back, which should never happen. And then Hamlin's indecisive and doesn't go and get Mahomes. And so instead of a field goal right there that you could hold him to on 3rd down, a 4-point swing in a game you lost by 3, the Bills give up a touchdown there. And that's another 4-point swing and another 3rd down conversion. I'm sorry. All right, so right before the half, this is awesome. Look at this catch by Mac Hollins. Boom, nice. 21-16, you're happy. They make the extra point. 21-16, make the extra point, 21-17. But there's a penalty on the Chiefs, so Buffalo decides to go for 2 with the play they always run, and they don't get it. So instead of at least 21-17, they literally took a point off the board. So instead of 21-17 for sure, and possibly 21-18, if they have any kind of an offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, who's supposed to be up for all these jobs and be brilliant, let's run the play. We've already run twice. And they're going to run in the 4th quarter, and you think Kansas City doesn't know it's coming from the 1-yard line? So the ball was put at the 1 because of the penalty on Kansas City. They took a point off the board. Literally, they had just made the extra point. They took a point off the board, And then they run a play that they always stink and run. And they're not the Eagles on that run. It's not the tush push. It doesn't work every time. And so they don't have any innovation offensively, not on the referees, on the Bills. And they don't get the 2 points in a game they lost by 3. And they certainly don't get 1 in a game they lost by 3. So that's right before the half, and it's 21-16. Okay, we're almost done. I promise. Only 2 more videos. Let's go to the second half. So I really wanted to stop there. Let's take a break real quick. I really wanted to stop there. And the reason I did want to stop was to just say, look, I just wanted to go through a bunch of innocuous plays that nobody really is talking about. Because everybody, it's easy. Did he catch the ball or not? Was there a block in the back of the punt return or not? If so, it would have been minor. And it happens all the time. And you watch the game. So everybody freaks out. And the fourth down play, and the officials are out to get him. In that first half, what I just showed you was a bunch of opportunities for the Bills to make plays, which teams who win, as I said yesterday, do. Steph Curry would make those plays. Joe Montana would make those plays. We jump up and down. We were really happy. But when Kansas City makes them, there's a conspiracy theory. When Kansas City makes them, the officials are against them. And as I told you at the beginning of all this, who just joined the show, I'm not a Chiefs fan. I sat in those booths and watched them celebrate in Miami. I sat in the booth doing postgame and watched them celebrate in Vegas last year, less than a year ago. Not enjoyable. In fact, quite the opposite of enjoyable. But what I'm trying to bring to you is more than, and this is why I brought it up, because the guy says to me yesterday, and many did, are we watched the same game? Are we watched the same game? Which, again, I'm going to say that he meant to say, are we watching the same game? And I thought to myself, yeah, I've watched it quite a bit, and I'm kind of a professional at this. So, yeah, are we watched the same game? So, okay, so that's where we are. Last 2, I promise you, and then you can rip me to shreds in this whole thing. But again, I'm trying to educate, and I'm also trying to illustrate the fact that I'm going to bring you, whether we like it or not, I'm going to bring you what is ultimately happening, and not just 2 or 3 plays and bitch and moan and say the Zebras are costing them, even though that's not really the case. So then let's go to, this is the fourth down play. Now, this is all 22 film, and I want to show it to you from 2 different angles. Now, maybe, again, you don't care about the Bills whatsoever, but this is the first angle. We all know this. Throws it. Kincaid should have caught it. Kittle catches it. Kelsey catches it. But this is the important part. This is the important angle. Watch from the left side, number 10, Shakur. He's going to go into your screen, out of your screen, and he's wide open on the left side. Nobody picks him up. Nobody picks him up. So Allen has to go right. Kincaid drops the ball. I'm going to play this one more time for you because actually the first angle is the better angle to watch Shakur, number 10. He's wide stinking open. See 10? See 10 right there. Boom, 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 boom. Right on the 40. He's wide open. And if Allen can see him, they convert that, and he probably gets 20 yards out on the left side. Not where the ball goes, but the left side. But the reason why Allen is scrambling, because there's a blitz. They're not showing it. And Spagnuolo brings it, and now he's forced to make a play. So who is that on? Okay, throw out that he drops the ball. Throw out that he misses Shakur, number 10. Throw it all out. All right, you've seen it enough. You don't want to see it again. I understand. But what happens there, let's throw the players out, and let's look at just play calling. Let's look at coordinators. What is we know this, you know this. What's Steve Spagnuolo going to do on a play like that, the Kansas City defensive coordinator? What did he do to the 49ers in the Super Bowl? What does he do pretty much to every team that they play against in key situations? He blitzes. So Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills, has got to know a blitz is coming, and he's got to call a play in which his guy knows. And Josh Allen's got to know that the blitz is coming. So he goes right, even though the 2 players are open on the play, are Shakur 10 and Johnson, the running back, running a quick, like a dart to the sideline. So those 2 guys are open, but unfortunately they're going left. So they're out coached on that play too, because they're out leveraged, because Spagnuolo is not showing the blitz, but I don't care what Spagnuolo is showing because I know he's going to blitz in key situations. So if I'm Joe Brady, I have got to have a blitz beater on that play. And Allen goes right, which is his fault because he's trying to get away from the blitz. He has no other choice. His beaters are on the left. He goes to the right, and then Kincaid drops it. So they got beat in a coaching sense. They didn't have the right play called. Allen went to the right, which was a mistake because his beaters are to the left, and Kincaid drops the ball. No officials, nothing to do with officiating. That was it. That was the play. That's what everybody wants to talk about, but none of the people that are saying referees and conspiracy theorists are breaking down that play, saying a lot went wrong and Kansas City did a lot right. Final one, and then you can go off on me and call me a Chiefs homer, which I am not. But this is the final, like, okay, so Buffalo screws that up and they got one chance. If their defense can hold and they're only down a field goal, maybe, just maybe, they can get the ball back, right? So here's Kansas City's last possession. All right, they get stopped right there. Good. Second down, you're in good shape. But instead of running, they get fooled and they get a first down. They had already used the timeout. So now they don't have enough timeouts left. There's 2. So Kansas City fools them on that play. Now it's first down. Stop. Good job. First down, stop, timeout. Second down, stop, timeout. So now this is third down. If you make this play, Buffalo, you get one last chance. They overload the left side, and then Pirine 34 goes behind that. Great play call because it clears that whole area out. See ya, first down. I'm going to show it from the other way. 43 gets stuck in the muck in the middle. Great play design here. Watch 43 in the middle. See in the middle of your screen, 43 at linebacker. All those players going to the left, and he's going to have to try to get through all that traffic to get to 34. He can't do it. And that's not an illegal pick, and that's a first down, and the game's over. So is that on the officials? Because Andy Reid had a great play design where 43 couldn't get through the muck on the play that they had to have on third down. They had to have that play. They had to. And 43 couldn't get through the muck. And it really wasn't his fault. It was a great play design. They had put all those players out to the right so that they knew that the play was going to be Pirine out of the backfield after 3 guys cleared it out, and 43 wasn't going to be able to get through the muck. So they get a third down conversion, and any chance Buffalo has to win that game is over. So I'm not a Kansas City homer. It's just one guy, well, a lot of guys, but one guy said, are we watched the same game? So 405 or 404 underscore pumpkin patch, what I would say is, are we watched the same game? I would ask you back the same thing, because basically I'm sure you think officials, fourth down, punt return, blocking backs, and that ball wasn't a catch. I get it. So you have a problem with, 3 calls, 3 plays. And I just showed probably 30 that Buffalo had opportunities with, whether it was Kansas City drops an interception, then you almost throw another one, or you miss an extra point, or you can't get a third down stop, or they get a touchdown when on third down you could have stopped them, or Hamlin gets beat 4 or 5 times, or Rousseau gets sucked in when all week long. Because I know this from a 49ers perspective, when they play Mahomes, it is constantly about along the defensive line. Yeah, they want to get to him, but there's mush rush. There are certain situations in which he's going to run the football. He's going to get outside of the ends. You have got to stay wider. You have got to set an edge. You cannot let him get outside of you. All those different things. And I didn't even show you the plays in which Mahomes scrambled 2 or 3 times in the field of play, especially on a 4th and 1, in which along the right side, they called the exact play that they called in the Super Bowl against the 49ers on the 4th and 1 going right, and Mahomes ran it. And if the 49ers get that stop, they win. They ran the exact play on a 4th and 1 against Buffalo, and Buffalo couldn't stop it either. And another play that if they would have made the play, they could have won the game in a game that they lost 32-29. So if any third down changes, if maybe they get that 1 point and decide, 21-17 is fine at the half. If Joe Brady decides, we run that Josh Allen 4th down play constantly. They ran it 4 times in the game. And the final time it gets stopped and everyone's complaining. Well, maybe if you had done a variation off it like Philly does sometimes when they do the tush push, but they don't. And I can think of one off the top of my head where they scored a touchdown where they gave it to Gainwell and everybody dove over the top, and Gainwell, 14 for the Eagles, walked into the end zone around the left corner. Like something innovative where you could say, you know what, we're in the AFC championship game. We never beat these guys. Let's do something different. They ran the play 4 times. They got stopped on a 4th down, and it got stopped on a 2-point conversion. Would you think maybe on that 4th down you might do a variation of that play, which you probably have in your playbook? All right, I'm done. That's it. I know. We went, how long did we go? 15 minutes maybe? It's 34 minutes into the show. And I'm sorry. I'm truly, truly, truly sorry that I had to do that. But I think it's for the long-term good of the show to say we are not going to just sit here with the sheep and say, because it's the officials, it's the 4th down. Everybody's against us. Sure, everybody's trying to make Kansas City the best team in the league because that's the largest market. Oh, no, it's not. New York is, Chicago is, LA is, San Francisco is. They're not out to get us. They're not trying to give Kansas City every Super Bowl. It just isn't working that way. There is no conspiracy with Patrick Mahomes or Kelsey or any of this kind of stuff, or pop singers, or it just isn't. It doesn't work that way. And having said that, you know me because you watch the show on a regular basis. I am a conspiracy theorist. Everything in the world, nothing in the world, I should say, is on the up and up to me. Some things are maybe, but a lot of things are not. So if politics aren't, if business isn't, then probably sports has some weird element to it. I'll give you that. 100% I'll give you that. But in this case, I don't believe that to be the case. And this is somebody who is skeptical, who's going, is that really, is that right? Is that on the up and up? In this case, I just showed you so many plays that tell you or show you that Buffalo had opportunities to win that game, just like the Niners had opportunities to win the Super Bowl both times. Just like the Niners, if they catch that pass, if Jaquiski Tartt catches a ball in the NFC Championship game against LA, the Niners wouldn't even have to play Kansas City that year. They would have played Cincinnati. And to me, that was the real miss. I don't want to see Kansas City in the Super Bowl. I want to see Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. We've beaten them twice. Give me that team. Tartt catches that ball. That was the real chance. Okay, I'm moving on. So episode 43, Rabbit Hole, Kansas City's just good. First half plays. That's what we just got through. All right. I'm really nervous to do this, but I will go out to the lines. All right. I didn't read because if I would have gone out to you people, I would have been completely not focused and you would have screamed and yelled at me. So hopefully that worked. If it didn't, I won't do it again. And I told you right from the beginning of the show, I was a little bit nervous to present that to you, but I think it worked out. I think it worked out. Anyone else's rabbit hole right now? That's a good comeback. You're bumming me out. I totally get it. I do. But I think that was something where, and maybe I'm wrong here, but like there are certain things that I did for my son through the years. And I said, look, right now he's not going to understand why I'm doing this, but long term, later in life, he will thank me. And I think that what I just tried to illustrate was we are not going to be homers around here. We are going to call it like we see it. And you're going to tune in and say, you know what? I don't know if you learned something, but you'll say, you know what? I'm going to tune in and we're going to get the truth around here. That's all. I don't like Kansas City. I told you that. I don't know why I shouldn't have to say it over and over again. I sat in booths and watched confetti in Miami, in Las Vegas, and did not enjoy it. Did not enjoy it for a second. Was angry and bitter. But I knew when Moody kicked that field goal in overtime that Mahomes was going to go down the field and score a touchdown, and so did you. I mean, and that didn't have to do with officials. So anyway, all right, I'm done. I'm not going to do it again. I think long term that's going to help us. Short term, you're angry with me. I completely understand it. All right, Patrick. Hi, Patrick. Good and bad plays happen, part of the game. Referees making lopsided calls in crucial situations are not. That being said, Chiefs with a better team on Sunday, but don't act like Chiefs don't get PT. I'm not saying that at all, my friend. And thank you. Appreciate it, Patrick. I'm not saying that superstars don't get calls. I'm not saying the superstars don't get calls. Thank you. There's a positive. Thank you, Luke 24:23. You're my favorite for a minute. I'm just kidding. I'm not saying superstars don't get calls, but the irony in this market where we sit right now, or where I'm sitting in the San Francisco Bay Area, is that we loved it when Montana did. We loved it when Curry did, and we're angry when Mahomes did. We know how it works. We do. We know how it works. I was also on the other side when I first started my career, on the other side of Jordan. And Jordan pushed off on Brian Russell. Excuse me. I just said Byron. He pushed off on Brian Russell in Game 6 in 1998. I was sitting right there with my equipment, with a headset just like this on, and a live mic to get ready to go to the Bulls locker room and do postgame for the Utah Jazz Radio Network. And Michael Jordan pushed off Brian Russell to make his iconic shot, his final shot as a Bull. And I went, he pushed off. He's a superstar. He was going to get that call. And everybody in the postgame said the same thing. The refs are out to get us. Jordan got away with it. That's as old as sports are, and it's always going to happen. And so do the Chiefs get some calls? I'm not stupid enough to think they don't. They absolutely do. Does Mahomes get calls? I just did a week ago a whole rant about how stupid it was in the Texans game that Mahomes got that sliding call, that not the one out of bounds, the one where he slid under the two Texans who got a 15-yard penalty. That was a ridiculous call. Does it mean that the refs were out to make Kansas City win the game, or they were showing him favoritism. I don't think they do it on purpose. Now, having said that, there is human nature, and I do think that officials in an NBA game are sick and tired of Draymond Green's act, and I think that they're human, and so when Draymond Green lips off to them, and then Draymond Green complains about it in his podcast the next day, bro, you've earned that. Just like Mahomes or Jordan or Curry or any superstar has earned their calls, LeBron, as much as we hate it, they've earned their calls. But you've also earned it in a negative sense. I'm a human, man, and you berate me constantly, Draymond Green. Why the hell would I give you the benefit of the doubt ever? You're supposed to be a professional. So are you. Like, he complains after a game like the slate should be wiped clean after every game. How's that possible? That's not human nature. You have earned a negative reputation in the league, and you're not going to get anybody's benefit of the doubt, and nor should you, because you treat officials like garbage. They're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt, nor should they. Now, should that be right? Is that right? That's where I go to conspiracy theories is, yeah, superstars are going to get calls. That's as old as the game themselves. But guys who are a pain in the butt to officials and berate people and treat people like garbage, let's take it out of sports like we often like to do on this show. Let's take it out. Somebody who is an ass to you constantly is a jerk, and you've tried to give them the benefit of the doubt time and time and time again. And then after a while, you're like, that guy's or that woman or whatever, that person is a jerk. And that's how I walk into any situation with them. So you got somebody at work. Let's just use that because it's the easiest one. And you just have never gotten along with them. You don't walk in there every single day with a clean slate. You know the past. And so whether it be negative or positive, so certain people you give the benefit of the doubt to because they've earned it in your eyes. And there are other people who you walk in and you go, hey, man, you got 2 strikes against you, and strike 3's coming. Like, I know you have 2 strikes against you, and I know. So I'm going to walk into this meeting thinking, I can't trust you. Or you have another person who you work with all the time and you've had tons of success, and you say, you know what? I'm going to work with that person again because they get it, and we work well together. So again, you don't walk into a clean slate with them either. You, in a positive way, you look at them. In a negative way, you look at another person. Same thing in sports. Draymond Green earned it. LeBron James earned it in another way. Steph Curry earned it in another way. Montana. There is the star treatment. Nobody's denying that. But what I'm simply trying to say here is for people to constantly yesterday and then hit me up and you said a positive thing about the Chiefs. How dare you? You were a bunch of sheep. We saw the same plays. They suck. There's a conspiracy theory. It's just not the case. There are conspiracy theories. There is bias in the league, both negatively and positively, in every sport and in every walk of life. But to just flat out say that the Chiefs get the calls all the time because the league wants them in is low-hanging fruit and lazy. That's what it is. It's just low-hanging fruit and lazy. That's all. Okay, I'm done. That took a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. But to be honest, I knew it was going to take a long time. So anyway, we can move on from it. And I am not going to preach, and I am not going to get on a soapbox anymore. But I'm just saying. Yeah, again, non-calls, same kind of a thing. Thanks, Jacob. Should there be calls? I mean, the one where we can go back. I didn't really come back punching. I don't know that I would say punching. Like I said at the beginning of the show, if you're just joining us, I just wanted that part to be a little bit educational, so that maybe, and again, this is the greatness of what we are doing and developing and evolving to on this show, which is we can have a conversation. And in a lot of walks of life right now, we can't. And I'm totally fine with you saying, I think you're crazy, or I think this is dumb, or I think that's totally cool. And I'm going to calm down, and I'm not yelling. I'm just saying, like, a bunch of people were hitting me up yesterday just because I did a promo that said essentially, and this is where on the chalkboard at third down, it says episode 43, rabbit hole, which we're still rabbit holing. And then I just put Kansas City is just good. And I think what we have to do is acknowledge the fact that Kansas City is just good. And so I've dealt with this firsthand. Like, I covered the Bulls dynasty, especially over Utah in those 2 seasons in 97 and 98. And at some point you just realize Jordan's just that good. And he took a lot of championships away from a lot of really good players. Stockton, Malone, Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, Clyde Drexler. Like, he beat a lot of great players who would otherwise have multiple championships. Patrick Mahomes has taken at least 2 rings away from Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers organization. It's overly simplistic for me to say that, but that's how good he is. So if you look at those kind of players, how many rings did Steph Curry take away? He took a lot away from LeBron James, even though LeBron got the one, but he took a lot away from LeBron James. He took them away from James Harden. He took them away from the Rockets. He just teams couldn't beat the Warriors. And the Warriors kind of laughed at it. The Celtics finally got their championship last year, but he took at least one away from Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. He took at least one from those guys. So that's why you get frustrated, I think, as a fan, as you look at these things and think, my guys should have more championships. But then you look at the greatness of, and this can go back to a Hall of Fame conversation that we had late last week. I like the great of the great. And you can look at this whole thing and say, wow, man, Jordan took him away. Curry took him away. LeBron took a couple away when he was with Miami, but that was a whole thing. But the whole point of me saying this is that's why I think there is a creme de la creme of the people who should be in the Hall of Fame. And those are the people that continue where you just go, when's Mahomes leaving? When's that guy going to go? That's why when I look at this, the 49ers opportunities to win Super Bowls, should they have beaten Mahomes twice? Maybe, probably. But the one they really lost, in my mind, is the Jaquiski Tartt drop. They play Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. I mean, the team that the 49ers have beaten twice in the Super Bowl? Yeah, that team. Now, I know that Joe Burrow wasn't part of those teams, and it was Ken Anderson and Boomer Esiason, and it was totally different. But they've beaten the Bengals twice, and I think they win that game. The one that the Rams got, the one that the 49ers should have gotten, the one that if Tartt makes that catch, they probably go to the Super Bowl. That's the one to me where it's like they wouldn't even have had to have played the Chiefs. That one hurts me. And again, maybe it's me because I was in the booth in LA doing a post-game show for that game with confetti and this thing that was on, their big giant board. If you've ever been to SoFi Stadium, that big board just kept in a circle saying NFC champs, Super Bowl, and they got to play it at home. Could you imagine what that Super Bowl would have been like at SoFi? It's already Levi South. We would have been, it would have been, it's all red, the whole thing. Anyway, I'm putting a lot of pain forth today. I don't want to do it. Are you muting me? Okay, let's move on because there are so many other things. Hold on a minute. Here I am popping all sorts of stuff up. I don't even know what the colon thing was. All right. I keep saying I'm done and then I'm not done, but I am done this time. Let's move on. All right. So we did Rabbit Hole. We did Casey is just good. We did first half plays and then I added a couple. Let's keep this thing moving a little bit today. And I hope that was enjoyable. Let me know. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was. Maybe you're mad at me, but let's still get along and still come to the show. It is John Lund Unleashed. Thanks for joining us. It is a Tuesday edition of the show. If you missed my whole thing on Kansas City, they're just good. And the whole thing I just did with those plays and everything else, you can go back to the beginning of the show. And again, you can hit us up on Spotify, on Apple, anywhere you get your favorite podcast. And rather than give you everywhere where I am from a standpoint of social media, just go to johnlundunleashed.com where we have everything archived, whether it be the podcast, the show. We have a blog up there, all those kind of things. And there's a lot of positive stuff in the 49ers, just in case you're mad at me right now. All right, the Snoop thing was, and I just saw this morning and it hit me the wrong way, and I don't want to be negative, but it's like, is there anything he doesn't do? Like he's on all the T-Mobile commercials, and I still don't understand peanut butter on jelly on gold. Like that doesn't sound good to me at all. Like why would I want to put peanut butter and jelly on my gold? But anyway, I digress. He will host NFL Honors on Thursday, February 6th. Like, is there no one else to host anything? Like, where's Nikki Glazer? Like, how about Nikki Glazer host that? I mean, Snoop does everything, and I'm not anti-Snoop. I like Snoop. I've met him before. He's a good guy. We're not friends. We're not acquaintances, but I have met him before, and I have nothing against him. But after a while, it's like, my God, he's everywhere. So that's just a short one. I don't need to go long on that one. Is this mocks? What do I have here? Oh, yeah. So is it NFL mock season? It must be, because we are approaching February very, very quickly. And yet today, this is my favorite guy. Daniel Jeremiah is the guy. But here's what's interesting to me, and the reason why I'm going to pop a couple of these mocks up for you. And maybe you like Draft Talk, maybe you don't. But I'm going to assume for a second that you do, because today is January 28th. Today's January 28th. So once we get into February, we can officially start talking draft because A, the Super Bowl will be over, and B, the Underwear Olympics in Indianapolis are coming up shortly. And so people start doing this. And Tuesday must be mock day because I saw a ton of them today. But my favorite guy is Daniel Jeremiah, who does an amazing job. And I get nothing out of this plug. Before I pop that up there, I get nothing out of this plug. He does a show in Seattle. Brock Hewer does a great show up in Seattle with a guy named Mike Salk, and they're on 710 ESPN. And when I was driving into KMBR every day, I would listen on Wednesdays to Daniel Jeremiah just because Daniel Jeremiah is great, and he would give insight, mostly on the Seahawks. So I liked it only because the Seahawks were in the division, and I kind of wanted to know what they were thinking. But he's tremendous on draft. So you go to NFL.com. But anyway, here's something that's interesting. So this guy, Armand Mambu, is a guard / tackle from Missouri. He actually played tackle, but he's being projected inside to guard at the 11th overall pick. So that's Daniel Jeremiah. I'm going to go through these quickly, and then there's a theme here. This is from The Athletic. Joshua Simmons, offensive tackle, Ohio State. He's got tackle guard flexibility, as they say. So interior offensive line could play some tackle with Trent Williams, maybe or maybe not leaving. And then Draft Network says Donovan Jackson, guard, Ohio State. Now, again, I'm just going to give you a little insight with the 49ers that you are probably well aware of, but I'm just going to give it to you anyway, which is they don't draft interior offensive linemen in the first round, let alone with the 11th overall pick. I don't see it. So even though these are early mocks, and really with early mocks, it's probably not the guy you're going to pick. All three of those mocks who are good, Daniel Jeremiah is really good. This kid from Missouri might be good. He can play tackle and guard. The guys, The Athletic, do an amazing job. They say offensive tackle, Ohio State. That guy could play inside or outside. And then where's the other one? Donovan Jackson, who's a good offensive line at Ohio State is good beyond all the skill position players that everybody talks about that got them a national championship. Their offensive line's really good. So 3 offensive linemen in 3 mock drafts today, and I think they're 0 for 3 because the 49ers don't do that. Chris Forrester, their offensive line coach, has a philosophy that the 49ers have embraced over the years with John and Kyle, which is they don't take offensive linemen early. They just don't. The real pain, and we talk about this all the time, where Buckner gets traded to the Colts because he's making too much money. He's going to make too much money in his new contract. And then they get Kinlaw with not the 13th pick, which they got from Indy. It was the 14th pick. And then, of course, he doesn't work out, so they have to go out and spend a bunch of money at the defensive line position for Hargrave, which he's going to be released as a June 1 cut, and that didn't work out. One of the major problems there is they moved from 13 to 14 with Tampa Bay. They flipped a spot. Tampa Bay got Tristan Wirfs. Man, Tristan Wirfs would be really nice right now. He could play right tackle, and then when Trent leaves, he's an all-pro left tackle, so that would have been a great pick, but they decided they wanted to go interior defensive line because they wanted to replace Buckner. So I don't think they're going to go offensive line at all, even if it's an offensive tackle like Kelvin Banks out of Texas. So we don't need to go deep into that. The interesting part to me was all 3 guys, or all 3 draft people, or NFL.com in Daniel Jeremiah's case, who know they should know the 49ers. You've got to look at mock drafts to think what they're trying to do is put a player in a position where he should go. Like those guys are probably in that range, but you've got to understand what each team does and how each team thinks. And the 49ers don't think offensive linemen, especially interior offensive linemen, is good value at number 11. So I think that if they're going to find a defensive tackle, and I don't think they're locked into anything because they need some things, but I don't think they're taking an offensive lineman. So that's what I think. And I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. NFL mocks, Golden State, Utah, I have on my screen there. That is tonight. And the only reason I bring that up, and that's at Chase Center, the only reason I bring that up is because yesterday I didn't talk anything about the Lakers and the Warriors over the weekend. And it's hard to talk about the Warriors right now because with Kuminga out, Podziemski's coming back. They're kind of, I'm not going to say starting over, but when you're out for a while, you know this in any sport, it just takes you a minute to get back. Now, Podziemski's shooting the basketball better, but they're trying to figure out their rotations now with a bunch of guys back. And guys like Post and actually Moody and Santos have kind of earned some time. And so I'm very skeptical of Steve Kerr when Steve Kerr will say something like, Quentin Post scores 20 a couple of games ago, and Steph Curry loves playing with him because the Warriors need a stretch 5 really bad. And they've talked about Vucevic and all these different kind of guys and people like Miles Turner. So they've needed to stretch 5 for a long time. And all of a sudden, this second round pick out of Boston College comes in and hits for 20 and hits a couple of threes in the Lakers game. And everybody's like, well, that's the guy. But now when people start coming back, Steve Kerr will say, well, that guy's going to be in the rotation. But then when guys start coming back, all of a sudden that guy's not in the rotation. So we'll just have to see. I like the kid, but as you start looking at the Western Conference, and I didn't grab standings today to pop up on the screen, but when you start looking at it, the Lakers are starting to play well, and Phoenix has won 7 out of 10, and so they've got it tonight. They'll beat Utah, but they can't stumble or anything like that with these games coming up, because teams in the West are starting to get better. And part of the reason why the Warriors could hang around a little bit is because they had the injuries, but nobody else was really going on a run near the bottom. Of course, Oklahoma City and the teams at the top and Houston and so forth and Memphis are playing well. But now you're starting to see the Lakers actually play well and the Suns actually play well, like the old man teams that I've talked about a ton. So it's critical that the Warriors, if they want to stay in this thing to any extent, start playing some better basketball. Utah's not a very good team, so they should win tonight's game. Now, here's something interesting. I didn't get to this last week. Hang on a second. I have blabbed my gums so much that I needed something to drink. All right, so I didn't get to this last week, but this is really fascinating to me. And we've talked about this, whether I'm on the radio at KMBR with Greg. Pop and I we always liked talking about this. But this is all-star voting from last week, and Steph's a starter. But here's what's interesting. You see player rank, fan rank, media rank, weighted score. So fan rank is 50%, player rank is 25%, media rank is 25%. But what I think is interesting more than anything, because we get blamed all the time, the fans don't know what they're talking about. And will you just give us one game? I've always been a big proponent of this. And if you watch the show with any regularity, whether it be a Major League Baseball All-Star game, whether it be the Pro Bowl, which is not the Pro Bowl, it's just a bunch of games down in Orlando that they play around with, or whether it's the NBA All-Star game, I just believe that they should give us one game. Is that too freaking much to ask? We pay all the bills around here. The ticket prices are outrageous. We have to have 15 different channels to watch the NFL every single year, and then they continue to give us more. I'm not being an old man, get off my lawn. I'm just simply saying that we pay a lot of money. We go to games. It's outrageous. When you go to a professional sporting event, it's like Monopoly money that you're throwing around everywhere. So can you just give us one game? But we constantly, as fans, get berated. The fans don't know what they're talking about. The fans shouldn't have a vote. So I'm glad that we are 50% of the vote here. And I don't think there's anything egregious that the fans did. So it's not so much the fans, and I don't really care what the media thinks. So fan votes in the middle there. Media rank is on the right. But what I care about is player rank. So this is what the rest of the players think of you. So like if you start at the top there in the front court, Jokic is 1 across the board, and he should be. LeBron James is 2 across the board, but media thinks he's 4. Durant across the board is 2, 3, 5 with the media. And the reason why he's 5 with the media is because he's surly. And I tell you that all the time. It's human nature. They don't like him as much. He's surly. Wembayama is there. Anthony Davis is interesting. Player rank 5. I think he would be higher, but I guess he gets hurt a little bit. Media likes him. Sengun, who I've told you a million times, they could have had him over Moody, even though I like Moody. 9 rank, 6 fan, 8 media. The other guys, whatever. Let's get to the bottom. All right, so Wiggins, 8 fan rank, good. 9 media rank, good. This is among all front court players. Players on Andrew Wiggins, 21. 21. The players do not respect or like Andrew Wiggins. It's more respect than like. I mean, it's not like. It's just they look at Andrew Wiggins and they go, whatever. And it's based on the fact that he's been inconsistent in his career. Andrew Wiggins is a nice player, and he's having a hell of a season. And this should be based on this year only. So the fans have acknowledged the fact. My voice just cracked. The fans have acknowledged the fact that Andrew Wiggins is having a really nice year. They put him 8th. The media has acknowledged the fact that Andrew Wiggins is having a very nice year. They put him 9th. So we didn't screw up as fans. Andrew Wiggins is the 8th best front court player in the Western Conference. He's played like it. The media agrees. The players are like 21. So this is why I like this thing, because that you really find out what the players think. So they don't respect. They don't like Andrew Wiggins. Let's go down to the guards. Shai Gilgeous, he should be 1 across the board, whether you're a Curry fan or not. 1 across the board. Now, what used to be interesting with Steph Curry early in his career, Russell Westbrook was in his heyday. James Harden was in his prime. Like some of these players, Steph Curry would be 1 with the fans, 1 with the media, and he'd be like 8 with the players. but he's gained a ton of respect through the years. So he's 2-2-2. Doncic has been hurt. So and again, Doncic being 6, that really doesn't have to do with hurt. Doncic constantly complains and moans, his bitches, and dives on the ground and has that Doncic whiny face. And so the players don't like him as much. You can see they respect his game because he's good, but they put him 6th. The fans put him 3rd. The media puts him 4th. The players like Anthony Edwards. He's not having a great year by his standards. 3rd, 5-3. Kyrie, Ja, same thing. Look at Harden amongst the players. You know why they don't like Harden? Because he's always diving on the ground, hooking his arm around you, trying to get to the free throw line, and it pisses players off. So the fans give him 6. The media gives him 5, and the players say, stop trying to cry and draw fouls, and they put him at 12. So anyway, I don't know if you think that is interesting. It used to be more interesting when they would completely disrespect Steph, but I didn't get to this last week, and the fact that the game's in San Francisco intrigues me even that much more. But I always like to look at the fans, the media, than the players. And the reason I started this whole conversation with we always get disrespected as fans is we did a pretty good job there with all these players. And I'm just showing the Western Conference because whatever in the East. But we did a pretty good job, I think, as fandom. In Harden's case and in Wiggins' case especially, they showed you what they think. They don't like Harden trying to draw fouls, and they don't respect Wiggins year in and year out, despite the fact that the media and the fans went, hey, Wiggins is having a pretty good year. So I don't know if that helps you at all, but that's kind of interesting to me where the players rank the other players. I'd like to see more of that. I think that's absolutely great. All right, so that's all-star vote. Let me go out to the comments because I have something, and you may want to leave the show early today, but you know what? I have something. Let me look at my videos to make sure I've loaded it before I say it. And I have no idea why this happens on my timeline, so don't leave before I get down to online food at the bottom, and I can show you a tongue guy too. We are down to the Giants stuff, but before we move into baseball, because some people have actually asked me to talk a little bit about the Giants as we are getting closer to spring training. So I'm not going to make that a huge part, but I do have something to discuss. And again, if you're new to the show, here's what we do. We're not beholden to talk about anything. What we want to talk about are the best things every single day. So if the Giants aren't making news or if they suck, I'm not compelled to talk about them. I'm not a flagship of the Giants. I'm not a flagship of the Warriors. I'm not a flagship of the Niners. I'm trying to do the most compelling conversations that are out there, whether they be locally, nationally, whatever. And so, yeah, I like Joy so much because she's in Joy, I'm just telling you, and I mean this in the most positive way. When I saw Tongue Guy, I thought about you. And that's not a dirty thing. It's just I thought, you know what? I hope Joy is in the show because I'm going to play I want her opinion on Tongue Guy. So I'll get to that quickly. We're an hour 3 into the show. By the way, I should tell you something before I do move on to other things. And I am going to get out to the I'm doing this because it's in front of me. I will get out to the comments in just 1 second. Right after the show today, flip over to Krug's channel. I'm going to do Larry's show at 10. So about 10:15. So we got another hour we can do the show. And then let me check my text messages real quick because I got to do a hit with a friend of mine in Seattle. I told you about KJ, about friends of mine in Seattle. I'm going to do his show every week from now on. So there you go. Okay. No new text messages. I think I'm doing Larry's show at 10:15. So look, you may have things to do. You may have a life. You have more of a life than I have, but I am going to go over and do Larry's channel at about 10:15. All right. Before I get to baseball, because so we've done football. We've done the Chiefs. I went through all the videos. We did Snoop as, my God, really? Can you host another thing? I mean, who didn't like Nikki Glazer? Did she do the Golden Globes? She was amazing. Like if I was somebody and I needed a host for a show like that or NFL Honors, and she did the Thursday night stuff after the game on Prime. And the first one was a little bit awkward, but I think right now, as far as hosts are going, I know like Ricky Gervais was really hot for a while and everything and hosting those shows. Nikki Glazer's number 1. I mean, I think. I could be totally wrong. No, I didn't. Wait a minute. I got to go up to 49ers now. No, I didn't do anything like that. I didn't do anything. And we don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable around here. I didn't do anything like that. I simply said that when I show the Tongue Guy as part of the Caboose pistol later on in the show, that's what I thought of. And I'm glad that she's, I don't want to offend anybody, but I thought, I hope Joy's in the room because I want to ask her. That she, I just want to ask her about it. Nothing creepy, nothing weird, nothing like that. See, now everybody went creepy. I shouldn't have started that. I get it. Let's see. Yeah, sports fan. 10 about 10:15. I think Krug told me about 10:15 we'll do this. So, and yeah, see, there you go. Another Nikki Glazer fan. Nikki Glazer's good. Was I blushing? Was I blushing when I said that about tongue guy? Maybe that's just my face today. Oh my gosh, no doubt about it. Hi Nathan, good to see you, man. Nikki Glazer roasting Tom Brady. In fact, she roasted him so well, and there was a bunch of other people on that day on Comedy Network, or what is it, Comedy Central, whatever it is. That he was already divorced and all that kind of stuff, but that definitely was like the final. If he thought he was getting back with Giselle, the final. Like she was like, I did not like that, and he got paid a ton. In fact, I think this is crazy, and I could be wrong, but I think I remember hearing that Brady got like $1 million for that. Could you imagine? Like, I don't want to get roasted. I think I could probably handle it, but I don't want to get roasted. But just sitting there for an hour and have everyone roast you. But if you knew you were getting $1 million, I wouldn't care. I'd suck down 1 million drinks and I'd just be like, $1 million. I think he got $1 million. He might have gotten more. He might have more than $1 million to do that, to just sit there and just get absolutely eviscerated. Now everyone wants to talk about tongue guy. Never should have brought that up. I never should have brought that up. Nathan, good to see you, my friend. Nathan, I think, was the first one to join the Lund Loyalist Club. And so, Nathan, if you want to send me your information, because I don't know if you were here yesterday. I don't remember if you were, but we did come to a conclusion. I think Stephen Leonard was the one who came up with the idea, and then a lot of people jumped on it and were absolutely great. I talked to my wife yesterday, who's in charge of merchandise, and we're going to order a bunch of more of these trucker hats if people want them. And somebody suggested that, hey, for the $5 a month you're getting us for, not only can you do the the videos coming out early and the chats and all the different things that everybody does, but a lot of people were suggesting we do merchandise. So we're going to order more merchandise. But Nathan, I know for a fact that you are number one on the list and join it. So this hat is going to be yours. I think I got 3 or 4 other ones. So let me make sure I have those before I give them out. But I got to give one to Nathan because I think you were first in that group. I saw that there was another star up here. So let me make sure that I hit these. The skills report for 5 skills. What's great about you is yesterday you donated $7.17. And I think I asked you if that had any significance. And I don't remember what you said. And then you said, passed up my dreams. I was dancing to Michael Jackson's Bad and got tired. And Michael then put some newspapers over me and left. Are these things true or not? Because yesterday you said you fell asleep at your desk and you hit a home run with an empty Coke bottle. Or no, because that would have been too easy, because that would have been like at Oracle, but like a soda bottle or something like that. Is this true? And does $5.74 have any kind of significance to you? So anyway, dancing to Michael Jackson's Bad. I'm not a huge Michael Jackson guy, but Bad probably wouldn't be my favorite. Maybe Dirty Diana, something like that. But I can't, got to think. Anyway, Michael Jackson put newspaper over you and left. All right. Thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. All right. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything before I go to one quick thing on baseball. And then we'll go to, I don't know if I have a New Orleans story today, but I'll think about it. I'm sure I do. And then random stuff we do throughout the show. Caboose Pistol has to do with tongue guy and online food today. But we got plenty of time before Krug too. Let's see here. Can you still get members only jackets anywhere? Man, I had one of those. I had a dark blue one, and dark blue is not really my color. Nothing's really my color, to be honest with you. I think I had my colors done at one point. These are your colors. And navy blue was definitely not one of them. But I don't know if you can even get members only jackets. Can you? Can you go to Amazon and get a members only jacket? No idea. I don't think you can. I really don't. See, I know better, and I just get going and I start talking, and then I shouldn't have brought up tongue guy, and it was just sitting there at the bottom, kind of just chilling, and there was no reason to bring it up, and then I did, and then it's just dominating the conversation. Did Brady 49ers did Brady get $25 million? I thought Brady got $1 million. Is that true? Did Brady get $25 million? God, you could probably cut off my limbs for that, like in Monty Python. I'm not dead yet. I mean, my $25 million? Somebody double check that. Is that true? I thought he got like 1 million. Maybe it's somewhere in between, but if you're right. Yeah. Giselle's personal trainer. That's right. I think she's having a child, or did have a child with that guy. Did he? Hang on a sec. I'm not going to be able to think straight unless I find out what Brady got paid for that thing. Somebody's probably faster than this at this than me. Tom Brady roast paid. Yeah, my spelling is so bad. Kevin Hart says Tom Brady did not regret the Netflix roast. Tom Brady regrets doing the Netflix roast. I don't care. There it is. How much did Tom Brady make for his Netflix roast? The Nikki Glazer joked he lost $30 million. Well, that was just based on the jokes and everything, because she took him for more money. I want to know what he made. 2 million viewers, 6 hours. Kevin Hart, blah blah. All right, I don't have time. Come on, let's go. Why did Tom Brady agree to be roasted? Come on. Drew Brees did a nice job roasting him as well. Let me see here. I don't know. I don't want to bore you. I thought I could do this fast, and clearly I cannot. So I don't know. I'll find it. We'll find it. Someone will find it. How much did he get paid for that? Somebody saying Nathan saying 25 million. 49ers Faithful is saying 25 million. I thought it was like 1 million, but I don't know. I could be 100% wrong. There are certain things I think I know, and there are other things I have no idea. Hi, Antonio. See, I don't know anything about these things. It was on Netflix. Yeah, you're right. It was on Netflix because they just went bananas. You're right. Most of them are on Comedy Central. And was it Jeff Ross is the one who's like the king of that whole thing? Yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's what he was. He was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could be right with 25 million. I don't think so. But like I said, I'll admit 100%. All right, fine. Look at, see, everybody's just like, tongue guy, food. But that means the end of the show. I mean, that's it. That's all I got after that. And then I got to go be on Larry's show, which I'm looking forward to. Don't get me wrong, but what is it, 9:25 right now? So I'd get a half hour to drink some water and take some aspirin. I got a raging headache today for some reason. Oh, let me tell you one quick story. I'm sorry. I said this right at the beginning of the show, and then I went into all the Kansas City stuff. And let's see. Pine Needle says, any of the credible Google Places estimates at 25 million. All right. I do know this as a former newspaper writer and reporter myself, that you just need two sources. You need two credible sources, and everybody that is in this room, I consider to be a credible source. So that is now two people, 49ers Faithful and Pine Needle, who have said that it was 25 million for Brady. So I stand corrected. It's 25 million. All right, that's my two sources. We'll call it 25 million. You guys are right. I'm wrong. You're smart. I'm stupid. There you go. Steve, you know how the show works, man. Steve, you have to go back to the beginning, because I did this whole thing about the Chiefs, and I put all this video together, and it was a controversy, and I can't believe you weren't here. I cannot believe you weren't here. And yep, Steve, it's a tangent. We've done so much hardcore stuff today. Rabbit hole, Casey's just good, first half plays, Snoop over, exposed by a mile, NFL mock drafts, Warriors taking on Utah, but I really wanted to talk about the All-Star vote, which I did. And we are random. We're always through. Giant stuff I still have. New Orleans story, Caboose, Tongue Guy, online food. That's what we have left. So if you missed the stuff, especially you, Steve, because you're here every single day, I would love your opinion. Go back to the beginning of the show, and not right now, but later, and watch my Kansas City stuff, because I put a lot of work into it, and I think it was pretty good. But I could, again, majority rules in this place, so maybe it was horrible. So go back to Rabbit Hole, Steve, just later. But I appreciate you coming in, and you don't have to be on time. You have stuff to do. You have a life. It's like, hey, dude, like I have a life, remember? So I understand that. All right, before we get to a New Orleans story, Giant Stuff New Orleans story, Caboose featuring Tongue Guy and online food. Before we get to that, if I could just share with you a proud moment. Now, I'm very, I don't let this information out a ton, just because a little bit of information about your child or your family is fine with me. But when you go too far on the talk about your child and how great your child is, then I think you lose people. Like, you can give me a little bit, But like on Facebook or something, like I don't need to see 100 pictures of your child, right? I just don't. And I do care. Don't get me wrong. I do care what's going on in your life, each one of you. And I do care that your child is well off and doing great things. So if they do something that is fairly spectacular, I would like to hear about it, but I don't need to hear every single detail. I think I'm most people in that regard, right? I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but I think that's fair, right? And when Facebook or social media first came out, all we all did was like tons of stuff about our kid, right? Like, he ate a grape. It's like, come on, man. Like, we don't need it all. But just really quick. So he's been the beat writer for ASU basketball this year. He got the ASU baseball gig as a beat writer, and he's just baseball. It's everything. He did an internship with the Giants in KBR last summer. And so the Cape Cod League, which you probably know of, which is the first wood bat league, and you get a lot of great players playing in that league and guys who are going to be going to the pros, but it's a big element in the Major League Baseball draft. And you ping, 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 you got these Easton bats and the ball's flying, 600 miles. And it's the first wood bat league, and it's the Cape Cod League, and it's over the summertime. So I've helped him get internships. I've helped him get in front of certain people, but this thing he did all on his own, and he didn't get any help from me and has been working really hard. And there's a bunch of teams up there, and he came in second place for one and everything. So he would live on the Cape for the summer, and he would be a beat writer / social media guy / all these different hats that you got to wear for this league. And later on, like Buster Posey played for this team. It's called the Brewster Whitecaps is the team that he's going to work for in the Cape Cod League next summer. And like Buster Posey, all these different great players played for this team and for all the different teams up there. It's not just that team, but so he got this gig on his own. He's going to work for a team called the Brewster Whitecaps in the Cape Cod League, which is the first wood bat league. It's a big time league for Major League Baseball draft. And it happens to be the team that Posey played for and all these different guys. And he's all stoked about it. So he called me yesterday and he was like hyperventilating. He was so happy. So that even though I'm not going to sit there and just bombard you with everything that he does, when there are seminal moments in your kid's life, you're like, damn. And I told him like 5 times, I didn't do this for you. You did this for you. And that is awesome. So he's going to live in the Cape, which is going to be it's like usually I see him in the summer. So he's gone at ASU doing whatever he's doing and working and doing well. And I'm not going to tell you he's on the dean's list, but he's on the dean's list and he's doing really good. Okay, that's enough. And so I'm proud of him. But he gets that Cape Cod gig on his own, and he's not coming home for the summer, which, he's kind of messy. So we're not that upset about. But anyway, so you can tell me about your child too, and that's all I'm going to do it. But I'm pretty stoked about it. Okay, so that's that. All right, baseball-wise, speaking of baseball, let me get to baseball for just 1 second. And I don't know if this is going to make you mad. It just struck me the wrong way today, maybe a little bit. Larry Bear comes out. I don't know where he said this. Might have said it on a local radio station but anyway, NBC Sports Bay Area about the Dodgers. Larry Bear says, quote, "We can't focus on them. We've got to focus on ourselves." Larry Bear doesn't believe comparing the Giants to the Dodgers is productive. I guess the problem I have with that is let's do a comp, and comparing sport to sport is not always the right thing. And it's not always accurate, I should say, not the right thing, not always accurate. So the NFC West and the NFC in general, and I talk about this all the time, the NFC in general looked at the 49ers a few years ago and said, they are dominant. What do we do? Because a lot of times what happens in sports is you imitate the people who are successful. We do this in life. We do it in sports. We do it in sports a lot. So they looked at the 49ers, as you and I have discussed many, many times, and they said, okay, they're physically beating us. They're beating us on the offensive and defensive lines. We get beat up when we play them. So let's do this. Let's beef up our offensive and defensive lines. Rams did it. Eagles did it. Lions did it. And all of a sudden the Niners went, oh, yeah, we forgot what we did. So you look at the teams you have to beat and you say, how do we combat said team? Unless you want to be a wild card team forever and never try to win the division. And so Larry Bear, to me, is essentially saying we're not competing with the Dodgers. Now, maybe I'm reading that completely wrong. Maybe I'm not anti-Giant at all. I like the Giants. I want them to do well. We have an entire summer of them, so it'd be great if they were compelling and could win games. So I'm actually the other way about it. I'd really like them to do well. But when you say that the team who is beating your brains in the division year after year after year outside of 2021, that comparing yourself to the Dodgers is not productive, I understand that. But you've got to look at what they're doing. That's what we do in life. How is that person successful? Can I emulate what they're doing? Now, the Dodgers are spending a ton of money. That's where it kind of falls off. But they're doing a lot of things behind the scenes. They know how to develop talent. I don't know if I put this up there today. I should have, but I forgot. Keith Law, he's not judge, jury, executioner as far as guys who do the lists for the prospects in baseball, but Keith Law did a list today, which I'll put up on the board tomorrow. It's in The Athletic, so you can check it out if you've got a subscription there. But he did his top 100 going into the Major League Baseball season. And as you could imagine, Bryce Eldridge, I think he's like 29 or something like that, or maybe he's 19, maybe he's in the top 20, whatever case or point is that's the only Giant in the top 100. It's Bryce Eldridge. That's it. So the Dodgers, year in and year out, I think I saw 7 or 8 Dodgers in the top 100. You can hate the Dodgers all you want. Boy, I'm on a roll today. I went from the Chiefs to the Dodgers. But my point is that you've got 8 Dodgers in the top 100. So they didn't buy those guys. That was good scouting. That's what they did. I'm not a Dodgers fan. But you've got to try to emulate. So we heard that Farhan was going to come in having worked for the Dodgers. And I know Buster's got his job now, but stay with me for just 1 second. And he was going to help the farm system. Well, now I've seen that the Giants farm system is 30th and they have 1 player in the top 100. So you've got to try to emulate something that they do. Okay, you can't spend the money and you don't have their revenue. I completely understand that. But can you get scouts that are similar? Can you steal people from them that are key? Can you do those kind of things? Can you emulate them in a lot of ways? They've found a pipeline to Japanese players, not only Ohtani, but Yamamoto, and now they get Sasaki. And I don't believe Sasaki for a minute when he says it had no influence that he had 2 other Japanese players on that team. I don't buy it for a minute, because now he's in the biggest market and he's in a big fishbowl, or the second biggest market, and he's in a big fishbowl, but he's 3rd behind those 2 guys, and he doesn't have to really worry about being the center of attention like he would have maybe on the Giants. And the Giants, in reading Andrew Baggerly's piece a few weeks ago, they're trying to decide if they even want to be in the Japanese market, where it is a huge market to make your team better. Are you insane? So the Dodgers have done well in the international market. They do well in scouting. They develop their players. Now, do they spend a boatload? They get Mookie Betts and they spend on Ohtani and they defer money. And by the way, the Giants could defer money. They choose not to. They could put these players on a credit card if they wanted to. They decide not to. And the rest of the league is doing the same kind of thing. So when Larry Baer says we're not gonna watch the Dodgers and what they do, why? Because in business, any business, you look at what the successful businesses are doing. So even though you can't spend the money that they are spending, you can do a lot of the things that they're doing. You could steal people from them in their front office who understands what they're trying to do. Now, Farhan didn't work. I know you're screaming right now. Farhan, they tried to get. I understand. Farhan was more A's than Dodgers. He loved shopping at Marshalls and TJ Maxx. Hey, everyone, look who I got on a discount. You know, like when your significant other goes to one of those places and spends $300 and says, I saved. No, you spent. You didn't save. You spent $300 on stuff we don't need. You didn't save anything. So he seemed to be, for me, he seemed to be more A's than Dodgers. So I would try again down that road. But I don't like hearing that, because what you're essentially saying is we can't compete with them. And right now you can't. But at some point, Larry Baer and Giants, you have to. It can't be every single year, we're going for the wild card. We're going for the wild card. Because if you think about the division, which you're in 4th place of, it goes Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks, Giants. Now, not only we can't touch the Dodgers. That's essentially what he's saying in that quote. We can't touch the Dodgers. Okay, so now what you've done is you've expanded the field that you have to compete against. So now for the wild card burst, you're not just competing with the Dodgers who are going to win the division. You've just said that you can't do that in a major market like this. But now it's the Padres and the Diamondbacks, and then go over to the NL. Now it's the Mets you're dealing with, and the Phillies you're dealing with, and the Braves you're dealing with. And now let's go over to the Central, and it's the Cubs and the Brewers. So you've just expanded this field, because the only way now that you can get into the playoffs, because you just said you can't compete with the Dodgers, is to get a wild card, which means you'll have to play an extra round of baseball anyway. I don't understand that mentality. I understand it from an A's perspective, because that's a smaller market, or a Milwaukee or a Minnesota, and they look up and they say, we can't spend that. We can't do that. How are we going to compete? I understand baseball is not fair from a financial standpoint. It is the most unfair of all the sports. But the Giants, to me, act like the A's. They act like they don't have the money when, as I've said many, many times before, and you're probably sick of me saying it, the way the markets go as far as size are concerned is New York is 1, LA is 2, Chicago is 3, San Francisco Bay Area is 4. We are the largest single baseball team market in the sport. New York has 2, LA has 2, Chicago has 2, Bay Area has 1. That's it. And the A's haven't been competitive financially for years, so don't give me this, it's going to take a while. Because I thought that, and then I thought to myself, that's not right. Because it's going to take a while for the Giants to take over the market. I got news for you. They took over the market a long time ago, and if they didn't have it, they got it in 10, 12, and 14, and we'd like to continue to dominate that way if I was a Giants fan, but they don't because they feel like, well, we just can't spend. Yes, you can. You can put players on credit card if you want. You can. You're $35 million, at least according to the reports I read, the latest, under the tax number. That's a pretty good player or 2 or 3, depending on how you put the contract. And if you want to defer something, boy, you could get a few guys right now. But Larry Bear is saying they're not going to compete. I mean, that's what I read. Am I wrong? Did you read that differently? We can't focus on them. We got to focus on ourselves. Doesn't believe comparing the Giants to the Dodgers is productive. So let me get this straight. You don't want to compare yourself to a team that wins the division every single year. You don't want to learn anything from that team. Are they too far ahead? They're that far ahead of you. Well, they are. But I'm saying that you look at the team again, I go back to business. Look at the companies that are beating you and do that. Okay, the finances you can't do. Do everything else. And they're not. They have one player in the top 100, Bryce Eldridge. That's it. They have one of the worst farm systems in the sport. How did that happen? Financially, they have money they won't spend. One of the big things in sports right now in baseball is we're going to defer these payments. I understand if you're like me. Like, I don't put a lot of things on credit cards because I've gotten in credit card debt before and it's not a whole lot of fun. But you're going to continue to have revenue in a large market. And if you want to look into the future, you're a single market team. And although the A's weren't financially competitive and you should have been spending like this anyway, if you had any question about it, they're gone now. They're in Sacramento. And I'm not saying A's fans are going to become Giants fans because they're not. But 5-10 years from now, kind of like when the Raiders left, and then the Raiders came back and they said, where the hell are all our fans? Where'd everybody go? You left the market. And so those young people grew up Niners fans. And young people who would be A's fans are going to grow up Giants fans. You're going to have more revenue. You're going to have more money. Spend it. They're not going to do it because we can't compete with the Dodgers. That's frustrating. And if you're thinking about buying a ticket, I've said this to everybody I know. I love going out to baseball games. The sun, the air, it's amazing. I don't, if the team's competitive on the field, that would be absolutely nice. But there's a difference to me between going to a Major League Baseball game and an NBA game. And I'm not anti-NBA. I covered the NBA for years. It's just going into an arena where most of them are the same. And there's T-shirt guns and there's all sorts, and there's music and there's this, that, and the other. And it's generally the same. Now, the fan bases are, might be a little wilder or whatever the case may be, but the arena is generally the same versus going to a ballpark and outside. I want to go to games. Give me a reason to go to the game. Tell me you're going to compete. Tell me that you're not going to just hand the Dodgers the division, which is what he just said to me. That's how I interpreted it. I could be wrong. You know what? The Dodgers are going to win the division. We hope to play for a wild card. Woo! Make that your slogan next year. Giants baseball. We hope to get a wild card. No thanks. Who says that? Sorry. I didn't even know I was going to do that. I didn't think I was going to do that. I'm not hating on the Giants. I like the Giants. I want them to do well. I love going to the game, but it's not exactly a boost of confidence when they essentially say the Dodgers are winning the division and we can't compete. You're not the A's, man. You're not the Twins. You're not the Brewers. You're not. You're a top market team. Act like it. Saying that you can't compete with the Dodgers, which is essentially what you just said, that's not a whole lot of confidence in your fan base. Yeah, let me go out to the game. Can't wait. Sorry. I didn't mean to do that. All right, you've waited long enough. What time is it? 9:42. I'm on a Krug show in a half hour, and I probably need a break. You sound as frustrated as me. If I hear one more Tony Bennett story from Larry Bear, I'm done. Larry Bear has been nice to me, and it's nothing personal. I tell you this all the time. It's another philosophy of the show. I don't take personal shots at people. I don't. Look at me. I'm unattractive. I do not want to take people take personal shots at me. I'm not going to take personal shots at anyone else. I don't really care about anything but between the lines. But when I see something like that, I say to myself, if I was a fan and I was going to buy season tickets, that would not exactly That would not exactly inspire confidence. Okay. Fine. I don't have a story behind this. I do have a picture, which is wild. And I'm going to go to Tongue Guy now. And the weird part about Tongue Guy, is Joey still here? The weird thing about Tongue Guy is this real? This is what I wanted to ask you. All right. So here's Tongue Guy. Hold on, let me take that off the screen. I don't want Joy to be made to feel weird here. Although, look at there she is. Does he have dimples? Let's see. Come on. Who is Tongue Guy? Thanks for asking, Steve. Steve, this will all make sense if you go back to the beginning of the show. I promise you. All right, let me go to this. So, do you think this is real? And do you think this is somehow altered? And and the first thing I thought is, and again, thank you for hanging out. And I don't want women to feel weird or anything about this, but I do wonder if women would find this to be attractive. So here's Tongue Guy. Byron Schlenker, 47, has a tongue 9 centimeters wide, is considered the man with the world's widest tongue, and is now featured on Guinness World Records. So I guess that's not a fake. But look at the smile on his wife's face. My God, she's smiling from ear to ear. Could she smile any wider? Next to him, his proud wife with the biggest smile in the world. Oh, I didn't get to that part, so obviously she is. Byron Schlenker, 47. Look at that tongue. Is that real? Is that tongue real, or is that Photoshopped? My God, man. Like, how does he even fit that thing in his mouth? I mean, my God. Like, can you imagine him like eating with that big giant thing? I mean, it looks like a cow tongue or something. You ever seen a cow? Like, they'll be out there because I have family in Wisconsin and they're dairy farmers. And so I have milked a cow, and I've seen cows, obviously, as you have, like eat food, and they get their big giant tongue out of it, like blah. And it's like, oh my God, I just put my tongue on my microphone. That was nasty. But yeah, Byron Schlenker, 47, 9 centimeters wide, is considered the man with the widest tongue and is now featured on Guinness World Records. That tongue is so gigantic and wide that it just doesn't even look real. And I don't even know how he fits it in his mouth. I got to go find the news story on this, or I got to find and see him talk. I got to see him talk. I'll do that tomorrow. I should have gotten a video of it because I don't even think that could fit in his mouth. Like, how could that tongue fit in his mouth? That's honestly, that like Gene Simmons has this long, thin, weird tongue, like Gene Simmons a Kiss. I remember growing up and he would flick it. You know what he would sing? What was that? What's the one song that Gene sings? The mother of love, whatever it is. But and he would like flick his tongue on stage and everything. But like that dude, that's a wide tongue. That's not like it's not like this long slithering snake tongue. That thing is like ridiculous. It doesn't look real. Okay, let me go out to the people now that I've had my say on Tongue Guy. Did I come through on Tongue Guy? I mean, come on. You gotta admit. That's like, whoa. It's a big tongue. Putting his tongue away is like packing a parachute. I agree with you there. That was perfectly said right there. That is unbelievable. Yeah, cow tongue. That's exactly what it is. You can sell that thing. You ever seen that in the butcher block? Has anybody ever had tongue before? I have never had tongue. Like, the big cow tongue, and you can get it in like a supermarket. And it's just like, why would I ever buy that? Has anyone ever had tongue? I've never had tongue. See, I did come through on this. People are like, what in the what? Yeah, that's a great point, Victor. What does he do when he goes to the doctor? Dude needs 3 tongue depressors. Now, can you imagine going to the doc for the first time and he pulls out one of those measly little tongue depressors? Open up and say wide, Byron. Oh my God, what is that? That is unbelievable. Isn't that? I mean, I didn't lie to you on that. I knew I had to bring Tongue Guy. Tongue Guy. Yeah, the doctor thing, that's a good point right there. How does he use his I know, look at the smile on her face. She's bursting. My goodness. That's unbelievable. All right. Have we put that thing up? Do you want me to put that thing away, so to speak? I mean, my goodness, man. It's unbelievable. Are people, is that done? I mean, maybe you're having breakfast and you're like, could we stop? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how he puts that thing away. How does he put that away? Like, who said it was a parachute? Like, that's what he would. Look at his wife. I can't get over the wife's smile. Like, look at her. She's like, for the love of God, man. I'm absolutely sure that like the first time they went on a date and she saw the tongue, she was like, that's my guy. Like, we're getting married. Yeah, right. Gene Simmons be like, Gene, sorry, bro. I mean, you think you have a tongue? You have like the thin, long tongue. That dude has like, I don't even know what that thing is. It's like a monster 4x4 in his mouth. It's ridiculous. See, there you go, Steve. Who is tongue guy? Byron Schlenker, 47, 9-centimeter tongue. Wife couldn't smile any wider. Look at her. She's just like, get away from my man. Get away from my man. Oh, man. Yeah, the doctor's going to have a tongue depressor like just for him. Like four tongue depressors like super glued together or something like that. Hang on. Oh, Byron's coming in today. Oh, damn. We got to do that special tongue depressor. All the nurses get all hot and bothered when he comes in. All right. Is that enough on tongue guy? AJ. This guy needs a shovel for a tongue depressor. Exactly. My goodness, man. Oh, that's a great call right there. I bet his dental work is a mess. Yeah, okay, open up and say, the dentist is just like, what in the hell? I can't get to your teeth. They'd have to get they'd have to get like 3 dental assistants to like hold his tongue down. Isn't that the worst when you're getting dental work done and your tongue's like moving around? Like, what do I do with my tongue here? What am I supposed to do? Yeah, it's a cow tongue. That's exactly right. Looks like a giant cow tongue. Ever seen a cow just going after the grass or whatever? That's what he's got. Like somebody got confused when they were giving out tongues. Who gave Byron Schlenker the cow tongue? Sorry, I screwed that one up, God. I was supposed to go to a cow. What are you doing? Anyway, all right, that's about it. Done with that one? Everybody seen it enough? My goodness, man. I put that into the system this morning. I was still shocked. And I saw the thing already. My God. Hi, Smiley Dan. Imagine if he got a tongue piercing. They just keep on coming. He got his tongue pierced with a Louisville Slugger. My God. All right. That's enough on tongue guy. Byron Schlenker. I'll see if I can find a video. That's some girth. Hey, Elevated Minds. Come on, the Kansas City segment was good, man. I worked hard on that. That was a good segment. Go back to the beginning of the show. It was very good. Best segment all morning. All right. Hey, to each their own. I'm going to have to put that thing away, though. Put that thing away, Byron. Put that thing away. Yeah, by the way, 9:50, Krug must be nervous. I know I'm not good at leaving the show. You know that, like 5 different times. I'm like, okay, we're wrapping everything up. Okay, this time I really mean it. This time I really mean it. It's not my fault. You guys keep me going. You guys know how to do it. Let's see. Wasn't the frog that said wise in the Budweiser commercial? Good call. Yeah. Tolbert update. Sorry, I pushed on the wrong one. Then I did it again. Look at me on this stuff. All right. I just wanted Joy's reaction. That's all I wanted. All right. Byron, we've seen enough. Have we seen enough on Byron? Or do I need to continue to do we have more comments on Byron about the 9-centimeter tongue? Or are we done? Anything else? Going once, going twice. Bye, Byron. We'll see Byron tomorrow because I'm going to find out. There's got to be a news story around that. And because it was written there, and that's where I saw it. And usually what I'll try to do is I'll try to get a video around it because that's even funnier. Because the news people are making some kind of wisecrack. So I'll make sure that I go back to that. So there's tongue guy. Worth it. Because everybody, the whole show, everybody's like, look, the Kansas City thing, the baseball thing, the All-Star thing, the Warriors thing, the mock thing, the this thing, the Snoop thing. Get the tongue guy. Like all morning long. Tongue guy. It came through. I think we came through on that. All right, one more. Okay, so let me explain this, and this is we'll make this part of the Caboose Pistol too. So I don't know why this has happened, but ever since I started the show, we're probably 2 months into the show, and thank you very much, John Lund Unleashed, John Lund Unleashed Pod on YouTube. You're watching on X, and you're watching on Instagram, and you're like, what the hell have I just stumbled into? We did a lot of sports and a lot of Kansas City early. So go to the YouTube channel from the beginning of the show, because if you're just joining now and you're going, Tongue Guy, what am I watching? Just go to the beginning of the show. Fine show today, far above average. So if you just go to John Lund Unleashed Pod, you join us on YouTube, you can watch the shows. Go to johnlundunleashed.com. We will make sure we have everything archived. So from the beginning, you can go, oh, okay, Tongue Guy was the end of the show. They actually do this really competent, fairly well thought out show. And you know, it's not all about Tongue Guy and weird stuff. So I would suggest you go to the YouTube page, John Lund Unleashed, John Lund Unleashed Pod, and you can archive and watch and listen. And we have a podcast as well, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your favorite podcast. All right, now that we've established that. So ever since I started the show, how long do I have here? Because I need like 5 minutes to go get a couple of Tylenol and get some water. Okay, so I got time. Make this 5 minutes. I may not have time to play this entire video, but you'll get the idea. So ever since I started the show about 2 months ago, I've been getting all this weird stuff on social media, but especially Facebook. And it's not like I click on any of this stuff. So because obviously, you know, you click on something and then that starts to become part of your feed, and AI is smarter, and all of a sudden you're getting all this stuff based on what you watch. That's why, like, when you're on your computer or you're on an iPad or your phone or whatever, and all these weird things start popping up about things that you looked at late at night, your wife's like, or significant other's like, why is that popping up? I have no idea. Come on, you know, because what you look at is what you will get. So I think I'm a pretty good cook. I'm pretty darn good on the barbecue, but I don't click on food. I don't watch food videos. I don't care about food videos, but it's not only the food video. Like if it was high-end stuff, I would stop and watch. If it was barbecue, I would stop and watch. If it was cocktail making, high-end kind of cocktails and so forth, I would watch. So if I got bombarded with stuff like that, I would completely understand it. But I get bombarded with, for the lack of a better term, like trailer trash kind of food. And if you live in a trailer, no offense, it's just, I don't know, I'm terming it that way for the lack of a better term. Maybe there's a better term out there that I should be using, but it's food I would never in a million years stop to watch. And so I'm getting bombarded with all this stuff, and I'm thinking, why am I getting this? And finally, this morning was the worst of the worst. And I got to believe this is a joke. Maybe it's not. But let me play just a little bit of this, and you can watch this, and maybe you get these too. But I promise you, I don't watch this kind of stuff. This is not my food of choice. Like I said, barbecue, steaks, you know, fine dining. And I'm not some kind of a snob or anything. It's just, there's just no way. I can't believe that this is it being made, let alone something that my feed thinks I would be into. So with that, here's what popped up on Facebook today. Online food. Watch this.
This is for the whole family, so you'll want to use 2 boxes. And then once you have your
So that's a big giant
down,
sausage.
Then you
macaroni
just
for macaroni and cheese.
This is kind
She's
of like
putting
my
processed
take on a
cheese.
lasagna.
A lasagna.
Just get the whole
and that's a big
front
bulk
kind
of
covered
Velveeta,
like
which you
that.
feed the cheese.
And then what's fun
fish,
is
right?
if your family has
Velveeta
sausage,
sausage, processed cheese, and then she's putting more cheese on top of macaroni and cheese, like out of the blue
so
box.
In the back, we're going to use this Colby Jack because some people just.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've got to go to the beginning of this. Sorry.
Then you add in.
So she starts with macaroni and cheese. There's a block of Velveeta, a sausage like an arch, and blue box macaroni and cheese. Okay? She does 2 boxes of that.
For the whole family, so you'll want to use 2 boxes.
And then once
you have your macaroni
one
laid
pan
down,
cheesy sausage. Then she puts processed cheese.
This is kind of like my take on a lasagna.
What's a lasagna?
Just
what is
get
that?
The whole front kind of covered like that.
What?
And then what's fun is if your family has different preferences on
and again,
cheese,
this is in my
you have
feed.
to use the whole.
And then she puts more cheese.
All the same cheese. So in the back, we're going to use this Colby Jack.
I mean, this would kill you if you were like
just prefer
lactose intolerant.
So then they take the back of the lasagna and
the lasagna.
The others can take the front. And then some people like mac and cheese lasagna.
Tapatio is a nice hot sauce.
So we just take this and tap, a little bit of garlic. Just wait till you see how this turns out in the oven. It's great.
No, it's not. I saw it.
A little bit of garlic. Taking some tortillas.
What is this?
And this is where the fun lasagna part comes in.
It smells delicious right now.
No, it doesn't.
It smells.
Hey, can we stop for a second? Can we put me back on the stage? Look at that. So she's got blue box macaroni and cheese. She puts processed cheese slices on top of that. Oh, she's got the arch of a German sausage. Then she puts a little tapatio sauce on it. Oh, cheese, regular slices. Then she puts tortillas, and she's calling this a lasagna, which is fine. You can call it whatever you want. Lasagna, tomato, potato. I really don't care how you speak. I screw up all the time, every single day. But let's just look at this right now. Okay. It's a process. First of all, it started with a big piece of Velveeta in the middle, which should be fed to fish. Then she puts the arch sausage there, and she thinks this is some sort of artwork. Processed cheese, regular cheese, tapatio, and now she's putting tortillas. Now she's putting tortillas on this thing, all right? So that's where we are. Lasagna.
Really good.
So you just take it. I know, the garlic. Oop, you want to keep your sausage rainbow intact.
Now this comes out of the oven. It's going to be really spectacular.
Right?
No, it's not.
Yeah, so we just completely cover it like that. And then the final coating of cheese, because we want the cheese on top. So I'm taking some shredded and I'm just putting it like that. See how it's kind of like this arch? It's a sausage arch.
Oh, that's going to be so cool when it melts.
Okay, hold on. You got to stop again. I mean, I don't need to. I was going to make myself big and talk. So again, if you're lactose intolerant, this is going to kill you. And I don't understand, like the guy keeps saying how good it smells. And she put garlic on top of it too, like minced garlic. So she's got Velveeta, processed cheese, regular cheese, that cheese Colby Jack thing that she's got over the sausage arch. She has that layered in there. And then she puts, I think, like some pepper jack over the top. So, I mean, I like cheese and all. I do. I like cheese. But for the love of God, man, that amount of, and I'm not lactose intolerant, that amount of cheese will kill you. There's no question. And then she's got this arch. Now, basically, and she's got macaroni, blue box macaroni, which, you know, sometimes that's not so bad. You generally feed it to your kids, but it's not terrible. Like you take a spoonful of mac and cheese every once in a while out of the pan when you make it for your kid, and you're like, wow, that's really good. But you're not making it as a regular. So anyway, there's a gobs of cheese. Thank God she didn't put the powdered cheese in there. I don't think she put the powdered cheese in there. But anyway, back to it.
Very cool. It'll be like this dripping effect. We're going to do a little bit of pepper.
Yeah, a little bit of pepper.
So you see how we have these tortillas? They can get a bit dry, but if you just add a little bit of milk.
Just a little bit?
Some 2%, just around
just
your
little.
If you're having a little trouble with your sausage arch, you just take a skewer.
This can't be real.
Just put it all the way through.
This can't be real.
And that holds it upright.
And this will hold it upright so we don't have that issue.
Oh my goodness. Beautiful.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, now let me get a look at that. Spin that around.
Beautiful.
Look at how cool that looks.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
A sausage arch of mac and cheese. Let's do it.
Okay, here
Let's
we
do
go.
it.
Sausage mac and cheese with a rainbow. Beautiful.
Okay, here
Wait till
we
you
go.
see this.
Here it
Look at, oh my God. Oh, darn it. Hold on. Now I got it, because you got to see the end of this thing. I'm going to stop it here at the end when it comes out. Hang on. Come on, come out. Where is it? Oh, for the love of God. Look at that. I mean, look at that. What? Oh, beautiful. Look how good it smells. I mean, that will kill you. It's just cheese and cheese and cheese with macaroni and what looks like to be like a rotten arch of a sausage on the top of it. That cannot be real, right? So there's a few things that are at play. First of all, how did that get in my feed, which is more what I'm worried about? Because I'm telling you, and I know you don't believe me, because you got to think to yourself, Lund is complete trash, and he's been watching videos like that, and I haven't. I'm not that. I mean, cheese is okay. Somebody just talked about the Packers or whatever. Yeah, she put dry pasta in there, 13 layers of cheese, processed cheese, regular cheese, the Velveeta, which is, I think, the stuff that is all over the top there. And then she puts it in sausage. Like, for example, I know that's my feed, and I don't look at stuff like that. I'm not a snob, but come on, man. Crunchy mac and cheese. I mean, that's not me. That's not me, man. I didn't do it. That is not what I watch. I've never watched anything like that. I would never eat anything like that. And I don't think that's real. Is that like, did somebody actually, because, they're going on and on. Oh, it smells so good. Oh, it looks so delicious. At the very max, as I watch that and see what it looks like coming out of the oven, which is garbage, I might do like blue box macaroni and cheese for my kids and then cut up some of that German sausage there and put it in there in lieu of like hot dogs. Like when you're a kid, hot dogs, macaroni and cheese, you cut them up in there and the kids will eat them. You could do that, I guess, with German sausage if you wanted to make it a little bit fancy. And German sausage is actually low fat, low sugar. It's not a bad item if you're trying to lose weight. But my God, what did she do? You just do the macaroni and cheese like normal, and then you cut up the sausage a little bit, fry it up, throw it in the mac and cheese. I mean, that's not something I would do. But I mean, what is that? Is that real? Like, is that a joke? That's got to be a joke, right? That can't be real. And why is it in my feed? Oh, God. You can see right there, 5:08 in the morning is when I saw that. I'm like, oh, my God. Why is this in my feed? My Life. Give them a follow. One pan cheesy sausage. God. That is not real. Like, they had to have made a joke of that, right? Like, they were like, watch. We'll get people to watch this, and it's horrible. Yeah, and then she put Tapatio in it or something as well. Lord. Yeah, at one point, there you go. 2,000 people were like, I'm trying that. I am trying the cheesy sausage mac and whatever it's called. God. See, even people who are like cheeseheads, that's too much cheese. That is going to kill you. I don't know, man. I cannot. I'm more worried that that's in my feed. And there's supposed to be some AI element to it. Like, well, that's what we think you would like. We think you would like German sausage, blue box, lots of cheese, casserole, lasagna. No. I'm just not doing it, man. This page is called My Life. I think it's fake. You tell me. That can't be real. That can't be real. That was just somebody screwing around. I mean, there's like 3 pounds of cheese. It was like, seriously, it was like 5 pounds of cheese in that. And then just like a little bit of sausage and some dry macaroni and cheese on the bottom. Yeah, maybe I did. Maybe I should have done that. Here you go, teenagers. They would have never come back to our house. That's what I should have done. Anyway. That's not real. I just can't believe that's real. All right. Enough of that. All right. So let's see. What do we got? Oh, I got to be on a show in 10 minutes. All right. Episode 43, Rabbit Hole. If you didn't like the rabbit hole, let me know. I'd love your thoughts on it after we end the show. You can hit me up or at John Lund Radio, mostly on Twitter, but Instagram as well. Thank you for watching on Instagram and Twitter. Let me just check real quick because I haven't checked in a little bit. What's going on? See, even people on the Instagram feed are like, what is that? I'm telling you, man, it's brutal. All right. I think we're done. Hang on a minute. Let me get back to the page here. All right. Rabbit Hole, which I think was great on the Chiefs. So go back and tell me what you think of that. First half plays. So I proved basically that the Zebras, and there is no reason and there is no conspiracy theory. So you're much smarter for that. NFL mock day, Warriors and Jazz tonight. All-star vote. I showed you Giants stuff, New Orleans. I didn't tell you a New Orleans story today, but we'll have them for the next couple of weeks. I have so many New Orleans stories. The Caboose Pistol, which was Tongue Guy and Online Food. Online Food, I just got you finished with. Did you want to see Tongue Guy before we left, or should we just get out of here and just try to lick our wounds after today? Where is it? I don't even know where it is anymore. Maybe I deleted Tongue Guy. Maybe I was like, had enough. Rabbit Hole was this, by the way. It's this guy's fault. 404 Pumpkin Patch. Are we watched the same game? I got many of those yesterday because they wanted me to be a conspiracy theorist. We watched the same game. So it's his fault. If you want to get technical about everything, the whole reason I went off on that today was that. Here's Tongue Guy one last time if you're new around here. Byron Schlenker, 9 centimeters wide. Look at his wife smile. I love Byron. All right, that's it. We've played that and talked about it enough. Weird food. Talked about that enough. Look at that thing. Love of God. All right. That'll do it. I said that 5 times as I often do because I do have to go somewhere because I got Larry in 7 minutes and I got to get my head back on straight. He's not going to be talking about sausages, macaroni and cheese and tongues. So I gotta be a professional. Schlenker damn near killed her. Well played. So we can do tongue guy all day. We could probably sit here for another hour and just go back and forth on tongue guy, but I think we're done with that. All right. Good time had by all. Thank you so much, Kyle. Good to see you in here as well. Everybody, thanks for hanging out today. I think we did a fine mix today of lots of sports plus lots of tongue guy and food and random stuff and all that kind of stuff. So good time had by all. Hope you enjoyed the Tuesday. Yeah, because the trash guys came today. Tuesday edition of the show. Now make sure that you subscribe, John Lund Unleashed, John Lund Unleashed Pod, please, on YouTube. Become a member as well. We are on X. We are on Instagram as well. And if all else fails, remember, johnlundunleashed.com, where we archive everything. We got a blog there, all that kind of stuff, johnlundunleashed.com, which not only will I post today's show, and then we'll put it on Apple and Spotify and all that kind of stuff on the podcast, but also we will have a story of the day we'll put up later, a couple of shorts, other stuff, and of course, if news breaks, we'll be back on the air. If you would like, I'm going to move over to Larry Kruger's channel, The Krug Show, in about 5 minutes or so, and I'm sure we'll talk Niners, NFL, and the rest of the stuff. So if you want to jump over to that, let's do it. Let's give you a 5-minute break because you've been with us all morning long, and it is much appreciated. Have a wonderful day, or I'll see you in about 5 minutes. Thanks for hanging out with John Lund Unleashed.
Thanks for hanging out with John Lund Unleashed. We'll try to be better next time, though I wouldn't hold my breath. Please like and subscribe on the John Lund Unleashed Pod YouTube channel. Watch live shows weekdays at 8 a.m. on YouTube, Instagram, and X. And make sure to have your alerts on for shows throughout the day or night. All things Lund can be found at johnlundunleashed.com. johnlundunleashed.com.
Goodbye!